Have you ever woken up feeling tired, even after a full night's sleep? You drag yourself to the kitchen, pour a cup of coffee, maybe toast some bread or grab a cereal bar, and tell yourself, "This is fine, it's just breakfast." But what if I told you that simple routine could be quietly harming your heart, clouding your memory, even sabotaging your medication? My name is Dr. Thomas Reeve. I spent over 40 years as a geriatric physician, walking alongside thousands of men through the most vulnerable seasons of their lives. And I'll be honest, many of the worst health declines I witnessed didn't begin with trauma or disease. They began at the breakfast table. You see, after 60, your body is no longer the fortress it once was. What you eat first thing in the morning becomes either a weapon or a shield. And most men, good, intelligent, well-meaning men, are unknowingly starting their days with choices that quietly chip away at their vitality. Let me introduce you to Robert. He's 72, a retired electrician, proud grandfather, and the kind of man who still fixes things around the house just to feel useful. Every morning for years, Robert's breakfast looked the same. Instant oatmeal, a packaged muffin, and a tall glass of orange juice. "It's quick, and it's easy," he'd say with a shrug. But Robert started noticing something. His hands, once steady, began to tremble. His blood pressure climbing, his energy fading before noon. He wasn't sick, not exactly, but he didn't feel well either. And it was stealing pieces of his life. That's when he walked into my office, confused and frustrated. And like many of my patients, the first thing I asked him wasn't about medication or exercise. I asked, "What do you eat in the morning?" See, here's the truth that most men don't hear. After 60, your body becomes more reactive to sodium, sugar, and processed chemicals. What you used to tolerate at 40 can now quietly overwhelm your kidneys, your blood vessels, your brain. Let's talk about that so-called easy breakfast. One packet of flavored instant oatmeal, often packed with 200 milliliters of sodium and artificial flavoring. That muffin? Preservatives and hidden sugars baked right in. That orange juice? It may sound healthy, but it floods your bloodstream with the sugar of 4 whole oranges, without the fiber to slow it down. The result? Your body spends the entire morning in a battle it didn't sign up for. A battle against inflammation. A battle against insulin spikes. A battle against the silent wear and tear that, over time, shows up as arthritis, foggy memory, high blood pressure, and in some cases, even kidney failure. And here's the cruel irony. Most men think they're doing okay, until the numbers say otherwise. Until their doctor brings up words like pre-diabetic, stage 2 hypertension, or early cognitive decline. And by then, that quiet damage has already begun to write its story. But here's the good news. This isn't about fear. It's about freedom. The kind of freedom that comes when you realize you are not powerless. You can change the trajectory. Starting with the first thing you put on your plate each morning. I've seen men regain energy, mental clarity, even confidence, just by changing their breakfast. One of my patients once told me, "Dr. Reeve, I didn't know how bad I felt until I started feeling good again." That's what I want for you. Coming up next, I'll reveal the first of 3 major breakfast dangers you must avoid after 60, and the surprisingly simple swaps that can transform your mornings. But the next insight, that's the one most older men ignore. Until it's too late. If this speaks to you, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0. I read everyone. Let's begin with the first major breakfast danger. One that lurks in nearly every pantry and hides behind labels like fortified, heart healthy, or low fat. I'm talking about processed foods. Now I know what you might be thinking. Come on, Doc. I'm just eating a little cereal or a toaster waffle. What's the harm? But here's the hard truth I've seen play out time and time again. Processed breakfast foods, especially after 60, are not just empty calories. They're landmines, tiny invisible bombs packed with sodium, artificial chemicals, synthetic oils, and sugars, all of which your aging body can no longer handle the way it used to. Let me tell you about Joan. She's 65, a retired school teacher who always did her best to eat smart. Her go-to breakfast? A granola bar, a fruit-flavored yogurt, and a glass of low-fat milk. Sounds reasonable, right? But Joan came to me complaining about persistent bloating, stiff joints, and a foggy head that made it hard to finish crossword puzzles she once breezed through. Her blood work? Inflammation markers were up. Her kidney function? Slipping. She was scared and confused. So I asked one question. Do you read the labels? She blinked. Not really. I just look for the healthy logos. We sat down and looked together. That granola bar had 6 types of sugar: glucose, fructose, corn syrup, honey, and 2 others hidden under technical names. That yogurt? More sugar than a slice of chocolate cake? And that low-fat milk? Enriched with additives to give it a longer shelf life. Additives her body now struggled to process. Here's the science, plain and simple. After 60, your metabolism slows, your kidneys lose their efficiency, your gut becomes more sensitive to chemical additives, and your heart, well, it doesn't appreciate starting the day with a sodium spike or a chemical cocktail. Processed foods introduce 3 major threats. Sodium overload. Even healthy instant oatmeals or frozen veggie patties can contain 200–400 milliliters of sodium per serving, and bacon or sausage, easily over 600 milliliters sodium, causes water retention, spikes blood pressure, and overworks the kidneys, especially dangerous for men already taking blood pressure meds. Inflammation triggers, preservatives, flavor enhancers, and seed oils, like canola or soybean oil, promote inflammation. This means more joint stiffness, muscle soreness, and yes, more fatigue and brain fog. Gut disruption, artificial sweeteners, emulsifiers, and thickeners, like carrageenan or xanthan gum, found in processed breakfast shakes or cereals, can irritate your gut lining. That leads to gas, bloating, and unpredictable digestion, especially for men who already have IBS or mild diverticulitis. And here's the most sinister part. Most of these ingredients aren't visible. They're buried under names you'd need a chemistry degree to decode. So when I tell my patients, if you can't pronounce it, your body probably can't process it, I mean it. But let's not just focus on the problem. Let's talk solutions. You don't have to become a chef. You don't have to spend your mornings cooking quinoa from scratch. You just have to get back to real food. Take my patient Bill, 70, widowed, living alone, not interested in fancy meals. He told me, "I want simple, doc. I want real." So we started with what I call the Sunday setup. Every Sunday, Bill spends 30 minutes prepping a big batch of plain rolled oats, stored in the fridge for quick heating, hard-boiled eggs, washed berries, and chopped apples, a jar of raw walnuts, a container of unsweetened Greek yogurt. Each morning, he mixes and matches. One day it's oats with berries and a spoon of almond butter. Another day, a boiled egg, a banana, and a handful of nuts. No chemicals, no hidden sugars, no inflammation. 3 months later, his blood pressure stabilized, his knees stopped aching, and, in his words, "I feel sharp again, like someone wiped the fog off my windshield." Gentlemen, food is medicine, or it's poison, and after 60, the difference between the two gets thinner. So start reading those labels. Ask yourself, did this food exist 50 years ago? If not, your body may not know what to do with it. But the next danger, it's even trickier, because it hides in the foods we think of as healthy. It's sweet, it's addictive, and it's silently reshaping your metabolism. If this message hit home, type 1 in the comments. If you've been living on processed breakfasts and feel the shift already, type 2. I want to hear your story. Let's talk about the second breakfast danger. The one that's sweet, comforting, and dangerously familiar. Refined sugar. Now, I'm not here to ruin your morning. I know that little sweetness can feel like a ritual. A warm Danish, a fruity yogurt, or just a splash of orange juice to start the day. But after 60, sugar stops being a simple pleasure and starts becoming a hidden trap. Let me tell you about Linda. She's 70, sprightly, independent, and proud of her healthy habits. Each morning she'd have a glass of orange juice, a low-fat fruit yogurt, and a bran muffin. I thought I was eating light and smart, she told me. But over time, Linda started to feel off, shaky mid-morning, napping after lunch, easily irritated, foggy. Her blood tests? Elevated glucose, pre-diabetic, and it crushed her. Because she truly believed she was doing everything right. Here's what I told her. And what I'll tell you now, refined sugar is a master of disguise. It hides behind feel-good words like natural, low-fat, energy-boosting. But the truth is this. Your body after 60 can no longer process sugar like it used to. In your 30s, sugar gets absorbed, insulin kicks in, and you go on with your day. But now, that same amount of sugar leads to a dramatic spike, followed by a hard crash. And with that crash comes exhaustion, mood swings, hunger, and inflammation. Let's break it down. When you consume sugar-heavy breakfasts, here's what happens. Your blood sugar shoots up fast, your pancreas races to release insulin. But after 60, your insulin response is weaker. Within 90 minutes, your blood sugar plummets. You feel shaky, hungry again, tired, anxious. It's a biochemical roller coaster. And the ride never ends because most men respond by eating more sugar. The long-term cost? Weight gain around the belly, increased risk of type 2 diabetes, elevated triglycerides and heart disease, and worst of all, cognitive decline. Yes, research now links regular blood sugar spikes to memory loss and early dementia. Now, let's be clear. I'm not saying you can't ever have sweetness, but I am saying this. You must choose your sweetness wisely, because not all sugar is created equal. Take Tom, 68. He came to me exhausted and foggy every morning by 10 a.m. He ate sweetened oatmeal with raisins and banana chips. It felt healthy, but it was actually just dessert in disguise. We made a shift. Now, he eats plain Greek yogurt with blueberries and a dash of cinnamon. Still sweet, still satisfying. But this time the fiber, the protein, and the antioxidants work with his body, not against it. And within 2 weeks, no more crashes. Clearer thinking. Steadier moods. He told me, "It feels like I got 10 years of brain function back, so what can you do?" Start by checking your labels. If you see any of the following words, take a closer look. Anything ending in O's, glucose, fructose, dextrose, fruit concentrate, cane syrup, rice syrup, or agave nectar, even organic. Sugar, it's still sugar, and beware of zero-calorie traps. Many men switch to artificial sweeteners like aspartame or sucralose, thinking they're being smart. But studies now show these sweeteners can still spike insulin, disrupt gut bacteria, and increase cravings. Just because it's labeled sugar-free doesn't mean it's safe, especially not for an older gut. So what do I recommend? Whole food sweetness. Fresh berries, blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, high in fiber, antioxidants, and low in sugar. Ripe banana. Add sweetness and potassium to oats or yogurt. Cinnamon or pure vanilla. Gives that warm, sweet flavor with zero sugar. Unsweetened coconut or cacao nibs, for texture and flavor without the crash. Let me share Carol's story. She's 73 and used to live on sugary breakfast cereals and flavored yogurt. At first, the switch to plain foods felt bland, but within weeks, something shifted. My taste buds came back to life, she said. I started appreciating the sweetness in a strawberry. I didn't need the sugar hit anymore. And that's the beautiful thing. Your taste, your gut, your mind, they can all adapt, but only if you give them a chance. Because here's the deeper truth. Sugar may give you a rush, but it also steals something in return. Your clarity, your stamina, your peace. And over time, it takes pieces of your independence. Piece by piece, you deserve better. You deserve mornings that make you feel alive, not depleted. But the next breakfast danger? That one's even sneakier. It's not sweet. It's savory. And it's been on the plates of real men for generations. The problem? It's clogging more than your arteries. It's clouding your mind. If this struck a nerve, type sugar swap in the comments. Let's help each other take that first step toward clearer mornings. Let's tackle the third hidden threat, the one that feels the most comforting, the most traditional, and often the hardest to let go of. I'm talking about high-fat breakfasts. Not the healthy fats your body needs, but the greasy, heavy, saturated kind that's been romanticized for decades. Think bacon, think sausage, think buttery toast. Think that full plate that makes you feel manly, but leaves your heart fighting to stay afloat. Let me introduce you to David. He's 75, an Army veteran, and proud of his morning routine. 2 fried eggs, 3 strips of bacon, buttered toast, and a cup of black coffee. I've been eating like this since I was 20, he told me, arms crossed. It's how I start my day. But David was also dealing with high cholesterol, tightness in his chest, and spells of fatigue that made mowing the lawn feel like climbing Everest. I ran his labs. His LDL, the bad cholesterol, was through the roof, and his carotid artery ultrasound showed signs of plaque buildup. His heart was working overtime, and he didn't even feel it happening. That's the trap of high-saturated fat foods. They don't strike suddenly. They wear you down, slowly, quietly, like rust inside a pipe. You see, after 60, your body can no longer break down fat as efficiently. Your metabolism slows. Your digestive enzymes weaken. And those saturated fats, they start to build. They clog arteries. They increase inflammation. They reduce blood flow to the brain, the heart, the limbs. They're not just making you tired. They're aging your heart and shrinking your independence. Let's get specific. Here are the worst offenders commonly found in older men's breakfast plates. Bacon and sausage, full of saturated fats and nitrates. They inflame your blood vessels and burden your kidneys. Buttered toast or croissants. White flour plus butter equals a sugar-fat bomb with zero fiber. Fried eggs or hash browns, cooked in cheap oils or butter, they spike LDL cholesterol and worsen insulin resistance. Even seemingly lighter choices like buttery English muffins or processed breakfast sandwiches are loaded with the kind of fat your body now sees as a threat. Now, don't get me wrong, fat isn't the enemy. Your brain, your hormones, and your joints all need healthy fats to function. The key is choosing the right ones. Let me tell you about Helen. She's 71 and used to start her mornings with bacon and buttery toast. After a health scare, she came to me, scared and ready. So, we reworked her breakfast plate. Now, Helen starts her day with 1 poached egg-sliced tomato apiece of whole grain toast, with mashed avocado, a drizzle of olive oil, and a pinch of sea salt, no butter. No bacon, still warm, still satisfying, still delicious. But now her cholesterol has dropped, her digestion has improved, and she says, "I feel light again. Like I'm not dragging my body around anymore." Why does this work? Because the right fats, the kind found in avocados, olive oil, walnuts, almonds, flax seeds, poached eggs, or boiled eggs in moderation, these actually help your heart. They lower bad cholesterol. They reduce inflammation, and they keep you fuller, longer, which helps you avoid unhealthy snacking later in the day. One of my patients, Sam, 68, put it best. "I used to eat to feel full. Now I eat to feel alive." It's a mindset shift. One that says you're not here to cling to old habits that no longer serve your health. You're here to create mornings that support your longevity, your clarity, and your freedom. And here's another hidden truth most men don't know. High-fat breakfasts interfere with your medications, especially meds for blood pressure and heart disease. Fatty meals reduce absorption, blunt effectiveness, and slow digestion, leaving you wondering why your meds don't seem to work like they used to. When you start the day with the wrong fuel, everything else, your medicine, your energy, your clarity, begins on the wrong foot. But swap out the grease for fiber-rich, anti-inflammatory foods, and everything starts aligning. Your heart gets relief. Your mind gets sharper. Your mornings feel cleaner, lighter, and more powerful. So ask yourself, is that old breakfast routine really serving you? Or is it a quiet betrayal, dressed up in tradition? But here's the deeper transformation. The power to change isn't in a diet. It's in your mindset. It's in the belief that you're not done yet, and your mornings still matter. Now that we've uncovered the 3 hidden dangers: processed foods, refined sugars, and unhealthy fats. In the final part, we'll tie it all together with a simple, empowering roadmap you can start today. And I'll share a reflection, one that I offer every man who walks into my office, scared and searching for hope. Because aging isn't the end of vitality. It's the beginning of intentional living. This woke something up inside you. Type "breakfast shift" in the comments. I'd love to know what changes you're ready to make, so now we know. 3 silent breakfast habits. Processed foods, refined sugar, and unhealthy fats can slowly chip away at your strength, clarity, and independence after 60. But this video isn't just about warning you. It's about something deeper. Something many men stop believing as they age. That change is still possible. I've spent over 4 decades with men in their 60s, 70s, and 80s. Men who walked into my office exhausted, confused, and scared. Not because of some dramatic diagnosis, but because they felt themselves fading. Less energy, less sharpness, less fire. And almost every time when we traced it back, the decline didn't begin with catastrophe. It began with small, unnoticed choices. Day after day, meal after meal, morning after morning. But here's the miracle of the human body. It responds to consistency. It responds to care. It responds to hope, even at 60, 70, or beyond. Let's take a step back and simplify. Here's a morning roadmap. One that works for real men, living real lives, without needing a private chef or a $1,000 nutritionist. The 5-minute morning reset. Dr. Reeves' anti-aging breakfast blueprint. Base: plain rolled oats or boiled poached eggs, or unsweetened Greek yogurt 2. Add fiber and antioxidants, handful of fresh berries, sliced banana or pear chia or flax seeds. Healthy fats: spoon of almond butter or mashed avocado sprinkle of walnuts, or almonds drizzle of olive oil. Yes, even on eggs or toast. Sauté 4. Flavor without sugar: cinnamon, pure vanilla extract, or a pinch of nutmeg herbal teas instead of juice lemon water to wake up digestion. Prep like a pro. Use Sunday to make 5 jars of overnight oats. Boil half a dozen eggs. Keep ready-to-grab fruits and nuts visible on the counter. This isn't a diet. This is a ritual of respect for your body, your brain, and your time left on this earth, because here's what most men don't realize until it's too late. Your health is not just your own. It belongs to your wife who still wants to travel with you, to your grandchildren who look up to you, to your son who still seeks your wisdom, and most of all, it belongs to the man inside you, the one who still remembers what it felt like to be sharp, strong, and clear-eyed at sunrise. Every morning is a chance to return to that man. Not through magic, not through supplements, but through quiet, intentional acts that say, "I'm not giving up on myself." Let me leave you with something I often say to my patients, especially the ones who feel like they've waited too long. It's never too late to age with strength. It's never too late to show your body love in the form of food. It's never too late to feel better than you thought possible. You don't need perfection. You need patience and one brave decision made again every morning. So now I ask you, which change will you start with tomorrow? Will you ditch that sugary cereal? Will you try prepping your oats on Sunday? Will you trade bacon for avocado toast just once and see how your body responds? Tell me in the comments. I read every word. If you found this video helpful, share it with a friend, a brother, a father, someone who still thinks it's too late to start caring. Show them it's not, and if you're ready to be part of a community where men support each other, grow together, and age with strength, clarity, and peace, subscribe. This is the beauty of wise years, and I'll be right here, every step of the way.